Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Yusril. Now I'm going to present about media teaching English in past perfect tense. Now there is some sentences you have to choose, students. The first is I drink water every day to maintain my body fluids. The second is I sent a letter to my mom yesterday. The third is the storm had stopped when I left to sleep. And the last is you will join with us after check-in at the hotel. Now, the first one is simple present. The second is simple past. The third, number 3, is past perfect. And number 4 is simple future. Okay, now, what is past perfect tense? The past perfect tense is a tense that functions to express an action that has been completed before an action that occurred in the past, an action that is often done in the past, and in the words or sentences that are reported. Okay, next, how do we use the past perfect tense? The definition is the past perfect expresses an activity that was completed before another activity or time in the past. For example, A. Sam had already left by the time and got there. B. The thief simply walked in. Someone had forgotten to lock the door. So, the past perfect is used before from the past. Okay, now we are going to of using the past perfect tense. Number 1 is the past perfect tense denotes something that happened in the past and continues until another action has occurred in the past. For example, number 1 is I had that car for 5 years before it broke down. Number 2 is my mother felt bad about selling the house because she had owned it for more than 10 years. The second is in addition. This tense can be used to express unattainable hopes or dreams. Conditional type 3. For example, number 1 is if I had not taken a bad fast, I would have missed the train. Number 2, she would have been at the same level as me if she had studied harder. The third or the last is the past perfect tense if converted into a passive sentence will be like an example. Inactive is Ryan had repaired many cars before he received his mechanic license. For a passive sentence is many cars had been repaired by Ryan before he received his mechanic license. Okay, now we have the graph of past perfect tense. This is the graph of past perfect tense. You can see, to be clear, the past perfect was used later than the simple past, which used the third verb. Okay, for example, sister had baked a cake before the party started. Now let's take a look about the graphic. The party began after sister had baked a cake. So had baked, it is the past perfect tense. Now we are going to the past perfect formulas and examples of sentences. The nominal form. A nominal sentence is a sentence whose predicate is not a verb or non-verb. The positive subject plus had plus been plus adjective or adverb or noun. For example, he had been at school. The negative, subject plus had plus not plus been plus adjective or adverb or noun. For example, he had not been at school. The question mark is had plus subject plus been plus adjective or adverb or noun with question mark. For example, had he been at school? The next is verbal form. Verbal sentences are sentences whose predicate uses a verb. The positive is subject plus had plus verb third. For example, Sophie had gone to the market before I woke up. The negative is subject plus had plus not plus verb third. For example, Sophie had not gone to the market before I woke up. And the question is had plus subject plus verb third. For example, had Sophie gone to the market before I woke up? Don't forget about the question mark. Now this is the usual form from the past perfect tense. We had plus past participle. The past participle can explain about regular in verb plus ed and the irregular, the third column. Now decide which action in the past took place first and which took place second. We had I felt better in the second sentence, and I took an aspirin in the first sentence using when. Now the answer is when I had taken an aspirin, I felt better. When is the time adverb. The took an aspirin changed about had taken an aspirin, and I felt better is the same. Now the second example is we called a taxi, the first sentence, and we locked the door, the second sentence, using before. Now the answer is before we locked the door, we had called a taxi. The explain is before is the time adverb. Lock the door is the same, and we called a taxi. We just plus a had in front of called. Now this is time signal or time adverb. Number 1 is as soon as. Number 2, not yet. Number 3, already. Number 4, when. Number 5, never. Number 6, until. Number 7, just. Number 8, before. Number 9, after. And many more about time signal or time adverb. Now we have example question of past perfect tense. Let's go. Number 1, we arrived at the cinema late. The film blah blah blah. The choice is A, have already begun. B, has already begun. C, had already begun. D, had already begun. Now we are going to discussion. This sentence means we arrived late at the cinema. The film has started, and this even happened in the past or past tense. We arrived, so the correct verb and the past perfect form to complete the sentence is had already begun. The choice is D. Number 2, I was very pleased to see Alan again after such a long time. I blah 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 her for 3 years. The choice is A. Have not seen, B. Has seen, C. Had not seen, D. Had seen. The discussion is: this sentence means I am very happy to see Alan again. I have not seen him in 3 years. And this even occurred in the past tense, was very pleased. So the correct verb and the past perfect form to complete the sentence is had not seen. The choice is C. Number 3, blah 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 brackets go to Manchester when you called her. The choice is A. Had she gone, B. Have she gone, C. Are she going, D. Will she go. The discussion is: in that sentence, he or she has gone. Only then did you call. Both occurred in the past, so activities that have been completed use the past perfect tense, while activities that occur after the previous activity have finished using the past tense, and the answer is had she gone. A. Number 4, before I mention him, I blah 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 brackets never hear of the author. The choice is A. Never hear, B. Never had hear, C. Had never hear, D. Had never heard. The discussion is: in the sentence there is the word before, which indicates that the first activity occurs before the second activity. Activities that have been completed use the past perfect tense, while activities that occur after the previous activity are finished use the past tense. So the answer is had never heard. Choosing is D. And the number 5, I was not sleepy yet. I blah 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 for hours. The choice is A. Have just slept, B. Had just slept, C. Has been sleeping, D. Was been sleeping. The discussion is: the meaning to be conveyed through this sentence is I'm not sleepy yet. I have just slept for a few hours. The tense in the sentence is the past perfect tense, so the verb is had plus verb third, and the answer is had just slept. The choosing is B. Okay, now student, we have some question for you. A is complete the sentence below using the past perfect tense. Number 1 is Jillian go blah 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 to the store before she went home. Number 2, Mandy told us yesterday that she visited blah 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 England in 2000. Number 3, the car flipped blah 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 10 times before it landed on its roof. Number 4, the doctor examined blah 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 the patient thoroughly before he prescribed the medication. Number 5 is before Ali went to sleep, he called blah 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 his family. Okay, now student, this is for question B. Change the sentence to be positive. Number 1 is Yuna had not read the book 2 times. Number 2, had Alan said that he gone to school when Sinta called him. And number 3, the student had not gotten a gift after they finish the test. And C. Change the sentences to be negative. Number 1. Before I asked her, she had taken bath. Number 2. Had she eaten when I called her? And number 3. Rina had finished it when he came her house. And the last is D. Change the sentences to be interrogative. Number 1 is my mother had not slept before I came. Number 2, you had studied physics before you moved to China. Number 3, he had gone home before Miss Anna finished her lesson. Okay, now I will give you some minutes to answer all of the questions. Do your best, students. Okay, students, time is finished, and this keyword for all of questions. I hope you understand and like about the past perfect tense. So, okay, we are going to close the presentations about the past perfect tense. I hope you enjoyed and can learn about the past perfect tense. Thank you for your attention, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.